Okay, ready? Freeze frame. We're going to hold it here for just a second while I hold up this sign so everybody can see what I'm holding in my lap. How's my hair? Good. All right. So, this is a very rare guitar, but a guitar that you see a lot because there's a lot of rock stars that use it. This is a 1962 Gibson Dove. The Dove was, in 1960, Gibson had created a square-shouldered guitar. Prior to that, they're all kind of slope-shouldered. Along with the square shoulder, it came with a longer scale length. Why did they do that? Well, it gives you a little more bite, a little more definition with the longer scale, a lot like Fenders are. So these square-shouldered Gibsons, the Hummingbird and the Dove, and later square-shoulder guitars do have the longer scale length. When you figure that the 12th fret is the middle point of the distance between here and the 12th fret is exactly the same as the 12th fret to the nut. With that, if you have a longer scale length, you're able to the math is better on the frets. You're able to get your intonation a little better. If this was a really, really short scale length, putting in all those frets would make it rather difficult. So they tend to stay in tune a little better. A Dove, though, was a top-of-the-line guitar. In 1960, they made the Hummingbird. And the Hummingbird was a really big success. Fancy pickguard, multiple binding. This was Gibson's answer to a very stoic Martin guitar. Martin guitars would never paint a color. Martin guitars would never add extra binding or pearl. In the 1960s, Martin didn't make pearl-trimmed guitars, not until '68. So this was Gibson's way of climbing up and capturing the performers. In the catalog, they would call the Hummingbird an excellent guitar for the performer because it was made to accompany a voice. So that's part of what the objective was for them. Then later they needed another guitar that fit between the Hummingbird and the J200. And so in 1962 came the Dove. And the Dove had, like the J200, a maple back and sides. So you see this is a very flamey maple back and sides. The Dove had also this very distinctive pickguard. Now you can see this is all inlaid. I'll even bring it a little closer to the camera because it really is fantastic. Hand painted, hand scrimshawed, hand inlaid, hand etched. This is a fantastic pickguard. To make this would probably cost you about $800 to get a pickguard made. And if this ever goes missing, you can't find them. You just can't buy them. No pickguard makers make them because Gibson has a patent on the design of this pickguard. So Doves become very unique. Now a '62 Dove will have early features: bigger neck, better headstock pitch for better angle, better geometry, and better ricochet off the nut. So you get a better, bigger sound. This guitar is priced cheaply because it has, one, a repaired headstock. Two, it's been refretted. That's not a bad thing. We always say, new frets, you're welcome. And then there is, because of some playing wear down here, there's a little piece of plastic that was added underneath the guard to help prevent any further decay of the wood. Also, the original bridge was an adjustable bridge, a lot like on your Les Paul at home. Now it's been replaced with a bone saddle. That's not a bad thing. It does take away from resale. We see these guitars much taller, but because of these defects, this guitar is down at $39.95. It comes with an original case. And you can see a newer Dove. This is a 1975 Dove. This too is made of maple, but not quite as flamey. You can see here the headstock pitches are a little different. This Dove too will give you bigger mass tuners. This Dove has the old Clousons, which are lighter weight and actually not stealing as much tone. Many guitar manufacturers go back to lighter weight tuners just because the extra mass tends to eat up some of the string energy. This is a very rare guitar. Here's a little thing. Doves at first in '62, '63 didn't sell very well, so in '64 they had leftover maple bodies. They added maple to some of the Hummingbirds. Bob Dylan famously used a Hummingbird that wasn't mahogany but was maple. So that's kind of a rare guitar to have the hummingbird in maple, but that really does sound more like a Dove. So Dylan is one of the Dove users. So is Tom Petty. So is John Cougar. So is Keith Richards. So many people have used the Doves. It really does embellish your vocals here. It has a really deep sound, and these are rare guitars. In 1962, they made 17 of these. In 63, they made 346. In 64, the last year for a big neck and this headstock pitch, in 64 they made 385. That means you have 748 guitars to pick from. Half of those are probably gone. So where do you think these will go in value in future years? Even the ones that are worn a little bit will rise as the rising tide lifts all boats. So we have this Dove to offer you. It's going to go fast. I dare say by the time we get this issued that you're going to miss it. And then we do have this 1975 Dove. It has the pearl inlaid guard. It is a little different with a bigger bridge, a little differently braced, but it actually has a pickup inside too, so this might be a better choice if you're going to use it on stage because it has a pickup. It's a little less lively, so it's less likely to feed back, and you can plug it in here. So there you go. That's all I have to say on Doves. I'll hold them both up so you can see them. And backside, and front side, and backside, and front side. We'll just fade from here, and backside, and front side.